So I'm really looking forward to the future, you know, I'm really looking forward to watching myself evolve as an artist, because it's really interesting to have seen 30 years of artwork, you know, as a whole body of art, because there are patterns within that that I never could have detected when I was 20. So that's pretty spectacular to be able to see the waves within the work, and to be able to separate the frequencies. I don't know if that makes any sense, but visually to me, that's what happens. You know, looking at the entirety of the work, it's as if each topic, each subject, and each style was its own wave, its own frequency. And within them, amongst them, there are core waves. There are the core pieces of you that will never change. And that part of it is really interesting to me right now, because it's a recently discovered part for me. I have not seen this before, you know? So I'm kind of I'm kind of jumping out of my skin about it, actually, because it was very complicated for so long. It was just, I don't know how many, I can't even count how many layers of superimposed images and colors and topics and meanings and symbols and things like that. I can't even begin to narrow that down verbally for you, because it really seemed all over the place for, you know, 30 years. It seemed everywhere. And even to me, and people had told me that I really need to narrow my scope. I was too broad. I had too broad a spectrum, too broad a color spectrum, too broad a subject spectrum, too broad a materials and mediums spectrum. I mean, all of it, you know? So I really needed to narrow it down. And I kind of fought against that for a really long time. I did. Because for me, what's important is understanding the boundaries of things, to understand the outlier ends of the spectrum, you know? Those spaces, when you could understand the boundaries, you could understand the whole spectrum in between. You know, it's like looking at the grayscale. If you have white and black and all the gray in between, if you understand white and you understand black, you could understand how these things can mesh together along the way in various proportions. And so you really have a more comprehensive view of the whole spectrum. And that's what this was to me. This journey thus far has been a collection of all the information that I wanted to know, that I wanted to incorporate into my work, because I found value in it, you know? And those things, when you find the value in something, it's really difficult to let that go. You know, some things are so super valuable, and that has nothing to do with money. You know, price and value are two totally different things. And so what I valued in life, it was not money. Otherwise, I would have made better career choices. But that's not how I played it, because to me, it was far more important to gather up the knowledge and the understanding, you know, the comprehension of it all. That's where the value is. I mean, that's where the wisdom lives. You know, that's where the truth lives. That's where all those virtues and valuable things live. So that's the space that I explored all this time. You know, it was internal, it was very personal. I explored the depths of my own emotions and my own thoughts and all that kind of stuff, and how that reflected other people, you know? what I saw in them and why that was important, you know? So I've really spent a long time observing people and kind of collecting all this data, and that plays a role in my art, because it's not just about me. So when I create it, even though it has that basic personal layer, that foundation layer, that is always about me because I'm the artist in this case, there are so many other layers to it because I just don't stop there. It's not about my personal expression as if I need some emotional release or something like that. It isn't. That's maybe a part of it. And in the beginning of this journey, I imagine that was a much greater part, you know? But at this point, that's really almost an insubstantial part, because this is so much bigger than me, you know? It goes outside of me, and it collects all of you. It collects all of your pieces and gets incorporated into the whole of everything that I know. You know, it gets incorporated into the whole collection of history and art and science and music and math, and all of it just gets processed as a whole, and it works together to achieve a place of meaning, you know? I don't really arbitrarily make art. I don't see the purpose in that, because for me personally, I mean, there's definitely a purpose in arbitrarily making art. Absolutely. You definitely will benefit from that. You will definitely benefit from that in some way. You know, it's a very healing space. It's very calming and relaxing, and, you know, kind of like meditation. And that's an important thing. So I don't mean to diminish that in any way. It's just that for me personally, I've grown so far beyond that that's not the relevant part of this anymore. You know, the relevant part of this is what it means and how it could impact other people. So it's important to me to not make arbitrary art, and to incorporate some substantial meaning that could help others understand, you know, some things that I understand that maybe you haven't thought about yet, or whatever. But it's, you know, offering a different perspective, offering any bit of different information, whatever it is that I might have that you don't already have.